Good morning. I'm Demi and I'm here with Ellie, Matilda, and Ewan and Elena on GPNN, the official news of the Grand Park Lions. Today's Friday, March 11th, and it is a white day.
At Grand Park Middle School, I'm learning, achieving, and preparing for my future. I do this by eating a healthy breakfast in the morning so that I'm ready and energized for the day.
And by talking real fast on their morning announcements.
We have a roll referral for Edgar Rico Dohan from Miss Steck. Thank you for being responsible and getting your work completed and not distracting others. Your video game project is awesome. Wait your roar.
Hey, we need more word referrals from other teachers beside Miss Stack. Thank you.
The weather for today is partly cloudy skies with a high of 61 degrees. You can expect slightly cooler temperatures this weekend.
You're on mute.
Don't forget, if you are interested in Girls Who Gave Club, fill out the form Mr. Brown sent out by Monday, 3/14.
Yeah, that's the form that I sent out already. Okay, everybody.
It's time for the Women's History March Madness Bracket. This round pits the signing of the Equal Pay Act into law against Reed v. Reed, which was a landmark Supreme Court case that prohibited discrimination based on sex, being male or female.
Let's learn about the Equal Pay Act.
The Equal Pay Act, passed in 1963, required that men and women be given equal pay for equal work in the same establishment. But we didn't get there without a fight. By 1963, the Equal Pay Act had been nearly 100 years in the making. In 1870, Congress actually passed a bill prohibiting pay discrimination based on gender for federal jobs. But the bill got watered down in the Senate and was never really enforced, a problem that would come back to haunt women a century later. Over the next 93 years, women's rights groups and labor organizations alike would advocate for equal pay for women, with some minor advancements, but culture would soon change. World War II brought an increase in jobs without the men to fill them. Women went from 24% of the US workforce to 37%, leading unions to take up the cause for equal pay. Twice in the 1940s, legislation was proposed to enforce equal pay for women on a federal level. First in 1944 by Congresswoman Winifred C. Stanley, then in 1945 by the National Labor Board. But despite much public support on both sides of the aisle, the bills were never passed. Why? Well, some argue blatant sexism. Others say the government had to prioritize employing veterans returning from war. And still others point to the wealthy business owners who fought the legislation in order to get away with paying women a lower wage. As the war ended, some women left their jobs, but others remained. By 1960, there were nearly 25 million women working, but they were earning only 59 cents to every dollar earned by their male counterparts. This all came to a head in 1961 when labor activist Esther Peterson became head of the Women's Bureau in the Department of Labor. She took up the cause, urging President John F. Kennedy to establish the Commission on the Status of Women. Through her work, she drafted the Equal Pay Act, but it wouldn't pass without a fight. Both the Chamber of Commerce and the National Retail Merchants Association opposed it, arguing women were more expensive to employ than men due to absenteeism and turnover. In other words, women were more likely to miss work because of childcare and pregnancy. In the end, the Equal Pay Act passed and was enacted to ensure that women and men were paid the same for the same work, which applied to all forms of compensation: salary, overtime, bonuses, stock options, life insurance, vacation, and benefits. Difference in pay was permitted in cases of affirmative defenses, such as seniority, merit, and quantity or quality of production, definitions that are open to interpretation. Many employers use this vague language to their advantage, applying maneuvers like simply changing a job title to justify paying women less. The Equal Pay Act also did little to protect women from other workplace-related discrimination. But subsequent legislation stepped in to fill the gaps, like the Educational Amendment of 1972, most well known for Title IX, which prohibited discrimination on the basis of sex in educational institutions that receive federal aid, and the Pregnancy Discrimination Act of 1978, which protected pregnant women in the workplace, and the Family Medical Leave Act of 1993, which gave added protections to men and women in the workforce. Despite the loopholes and limitations, the Equal Pay Act had a tremendous impact on society, challenging stereotypes about women, inviting more women into the workplace, and reducing the pay gap. Women went from earning 59 cents of every dollar a man earned in 1960 to 77 cents in 2011. Change is happening, but slowly. And even today, activists still continue the fight to make the workplace a fair, safe, and equal environment.
Now let's learn about Reed versus Reed.
No law firm would hire her as an attorney. And one of the first cases she worked on while with the ACLU. Well, long before Ruth Bader Ginsburg joined the Supreme Court in 1993, she was fighting for equal rights for women as a volunteer and a lawyer for the ACLU. That's because no law firm would hire her as an attorney. And one of the first cases she worked on while with the ACLU was Reed v. Reed, a court case out of Boise. Kim Fields looked back at the landmark case that helped start Ginsburg's historic career.
It was the late 1960s, and Ruth Bader Ginsburg was a law professor at Rutgers University and a volunteer lawyer for the ACLU. The ACLU had made women's rights its top legal priority, and the case of Sally Reed caught their attention.
Sally had a strong belief that women shouldn't be treated so poorly. And apparently Ruth Bader Ginsburg also believed that.
Sally Reed lived in Boise and had separated from her husband. When their son died, both parents wanted to be executor of his estate. But Idaho law automatically appointed the father because he was a man. Alan Durr, an attorney in Boise, took up Sally's case. We talked with Durr's widow, Judy Peavy Durr, in 2019.
The courts and the law at that time said that, I'm paraphrasing, but when both parties applying to administer an estate are equal in competence, then the man must be preferred over the woman.
Reed and Durr fought the case through every level of the courts. It eventually ended up at the Supreme Court in 1971. Durr argued the case. Ruth Bader Ginsburg was the principal author of the brief. Together, they were asking the Supreme Court to do something it had never done before, declare a law that discriminates on the basis of sex to be unconstitutional. Durr didn't meet Ginsburg until the day the High Court heard the case, when she was seated in the audience.
He said she was dynamite. Ruth calls it her grandmother case. It's the one that started everything for her, in her opinion, in terms of women's equality.
The Supreme Court voted unanimously in favor of Sally Reed, a landmark case for gender equality, because it was the first time the High Court would strike down a law for treating men and women differently. A plaque on Vista Avenue in Boise pays tribute to Reed and has become a small memorial for Ginsburg since her passing, remembering the two women who started a revolution for gender equality.
Good morning, Grand Park Lions. What's going on at the park?
A lot.
For today, for my portion, I'm going to keep it very short, sweet, and simple. So I want you to remember the word key. Key stands for keep educating yourself. So as you go about your day today, remember the word key. Keep educating yourself. Mr. Brown, take it away.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. I have a lot of announcements, a lot of things that are going on at the park. First, this weekend, we have the wrestling regionals. go out if you can and support our wrestlers this weekend. Also, big shout out, big on the spot roll referral for Josiah Austin, who sung the national anthem at the basketball game last night, and Miss Sutton for supporting him and helping him out. And also big shout out to everybody who came out and supported us last night. We had a nice crowd. Thank you for your support throughout this whole basketball season, and especially our cheerleaders, especially our one here that's an anchor who fought through injury to be out there. All right, so Nature Bridge, permission slips are due on the 15th. After the 15th, I will not accept any more. We have Spirit Week coming up next week. I'm sure you got an email that said March 144. That was a typo. Thank you for telling me, Elena Crossing. But next week we have Spirit Week. I already sent the flyer out. Check it out and come with some spirit next week. Don't forget to fill out your Women's History March Madness bracket. I've been sending them every day. You can go back and watch the announcements, to watch the YouTubes if you have a question about which one should you choose. In this case, there is no losers because they're all amazing things. Sorry about that. Today we have fall pictures for basketball players and the wrestling team. So make sure you stay after so you can take your pictures because your parents want to see how your participation and see you in uniform. Spring sports tryouts start March the 21st. So if you want to play girls soccer, you want to play softball, you want to play baseball, or you want to do boys track, tryouts begin Monday, March the 21st. And last but not least, the NJHS is having a spring food drive, March 14th through the 25th, that you should see flyers around the school. Some of the most needed items, gift cards to grocery stores and restaurants, macaroni and cheese, boxed meals, cereal, canned fruit, canned meat, canned potatoes, condiments, ravioli, canned beans, a whole bunch of other stuff. Contribute what you can to make this spring food drive a success. Anchor, let's see what we got left. Oh, Anchor 5, give us the quick fun fact of the day.
Fun fact for the day. It takes a diamond 1 billion to 3.3 billion years to form naturally. Ms. Ramadan, do you have anything for the students today?
No, well, yes, always. Just have a great day because homeroom has started and we need all our academic minutes. So let's get to teaching and have a fabulous Friday here at the park. Mr. Brown, anything?
You already said it. Have a fantastic, fabulous Friday, everybody.